Illegal Possession by Kay Hooper. Read by Deanna Hurst.
Chapter 1. She checked the line for the third time and then swung out over the guttering, lowering herself cautiously until her feet were firmly placed on a lintel protruding slightly above the top window. She had no fear of being seen from within. This was the attic window, a round conceit fashioned in bogus stained glass and certainly opaque from paint, if not from plain old dirt. Her soft kid boots gripped the stone securely, and she looked down over her shoulder to pinpoint her target one last time. Yes, there it was, a raised window sash on the second floor. Her gaze continued downward until she noted the grass directly beneath her, noted indifferently and with but a glancing thought how that grass would welcome a body falling 5 stories into its grasp. It would have been easier, she thought, to climb up to the second floor rather than climb down to it, but inconveniently placed shrubbery lighting cast a distinctly unwelcome spotlight on the entire first floor. Only a suicidally bold thief would have taken the chance. Troy was bold, but she was also shrewd and cautious. And luckily, she could belay herself down faster and more quietly than 9 out of 10 men could have climbed up. Decision made. Balancing easily on the narrow ledge, Troy reached up to roll down her ski mask to cover her face. That done, her gloved fingers moved automatically over her compact tool belt, ticking off each tool in its proper place. Then she gripped the line, expertly bent her knees, and pushed away from the building, swinging out and down with the speed and control of an experienced mountain climber. The first fall took her down to the 3rd floor, her booted feet touching the brick wall with the lightness of a feather and the silence of a cat. Knees bent, she allowed her joints to absorb force and sound for a split second, and then pushed off again. Her second jump took her exactly to target. The open window sash was at waist level and to her right. Again, flexed knees took the force of her landing, absorbing sound. Troy paused for a moment, head turned and eyes fixed on the sentry who'd just rounded the corner of the building. She watched in silence, not a sound betraying her to the man or to the alert Doberman that was pacing on a short leash at his side. Both passed her position, some feet below her, and moved on, the man swearing quietly to his canine companion about the absurdity of patrolling on a night as cold as a witch's broomstick and as black as the Earl of Hell's waistcoat. Troy turned her head to watch them move out of sight around the opposite corner of the building. She saw mist rise in front of her eyes and realized absently that she'd held her breath, but her lungs hadn't complained. Troy could hold her breath for a long time. She locked the line in position and used the niches in the bricks to pull herself sideways until she could peer between the crack in the drapes. She had highly developed night vision, so her eyes saw as much of the interior of the room as was possible through the narrow crack. A chair, a desk, what looked like a game table, and, books on shelves. The plans had been worth what she'd paid for them then. This was the library. The safe should be to the left of the desk, and probably, unoriginally, behind a painting. She braced her feet even more carefully and slid a hand inside the open window. Sensitive fingers gloved in form-fitting kid searched slowly and delicately for any indication of wire or trip device, and found none. Still cautious, Troy unhooked a small electronic device from her belt and pushed a button, her eyes fixed unwaveringly on a small green light as she moved the device all around the window frame. A moment later, Troy returned the device to her belt, her brows lifting silently and invisibly behind the ski mask. No alarm system. Then it was true that the man relied on his patrols and dogs for protection. Odd, she thought. But maybe not so odd. This man was somewhat new to the acquire art at any cost breed. His collection probably wasn't extensive enough yet to demand state-of-the-art protection, or perhaps he just hadn't realized.